Welcome to the Parlor, a weekly fireside chat about your favorite television programs. I'm one of your hosts, Dane, and I also host the podcast Live and Active Pop Culture.
My name is Seth, also known as Moose2006. I run the YouTube channel Moose2006LP.
Today, we're going to finish our discussion of Mr. Robot Season 2 with the last two episodes, pyth0n Part 1 and 2.
All right, and these episodes are what, 10 and 11? Or 11 and 12?
11 and 12,
okay.
I believe.
So pyth0n it seems to be written and directed by Sam Esmail.
That would make sense to me.
So, yep, pyth0n.
We're going to be spoiling the episode, including the end of the whole season. So if you haven't watched these episodes, hopefully you have. But make sure to go watch them before you come and listen to this podcast, because we're really going to talk about everything that happens.
Everything we got. And we are going to discuss both parts simultaneously.
Yes.
We're not treating them as two episodes, but rather one finale.
Long episode, yeah.
Which I think is probably the way to watch it.
Yeah, I would agree.
I'm so glad I didn't watch it week to week, just because the first episode's a lot of setup, kind of slower, and then the second part is really good.
Yeah.
I mean, just everything happens, right? So,
yes, exactly.
Loved it.
Before we start going into our breakdown,
sure.
Who do you think was the star of this finale?
That was really hard to tell. I think Angela's really taken a front seat role.
Well, we have to see what happens with Angela.
I thought she was sort of a lame character all season. She was always kind of a boring storyline, and then all of a sudden, her character just came out of the woodwork the last couple episodes into some real prominence.
Yeah,
especially as we know at the end of this one,
yes,
which we'll talk about at the end of this podcast.
Which I
probably
need help processing and interpreting.
Good
in
okay.
every single way.
We'll have some discussion there because I'm not quite sure. I
have a controversial choice.
Okay,
I think DiPiero.
She's so great.
We find out not only is she amazing at her job, she's
really
amazing at her job.
Yes,
she has no stone unturned.
No,
she knows everything.
Yes,
and
loved that scene,
and has been withholding it from them and us.
Yeah,
the whole time. We have seen her sort of a lot of times kind of competent, but sort of bumbling around and trying to figure this out. She knows everything.
Everything. As we'll talk about when we get to Darlene's storyline.
Yes.
I loved that
Holy
scene.
Cow.
I loved that song that was going on.
Me
the
too.
moth
That was
to
wonderful.
The flame.
Yes.
It was so fitting, and that
so
was so great. I really hope, I don't know how they'll fit her in, but I really hope she can come back.
Oh, I think she will have to.
You think she'll still be involved?
Yeah, I think she'll be. Yeah, I definitely do.
Good. Yeah. Elliot, yeah, he was in it.
But kind of took a back seat.
Say it wasn't,
because at this point, Mr. Robot kind of took over.
Yeah, it was
which was kind of fun.
I loved everything they did.
And then Joanna, her storyline, a little bit of what's going on there.
That was kind of weird.
Joanna,
she is
a snake.
Crazy.
She's a snake.
She is crazy.
Maybe she needs to be changed to a mongoose or something.
I'm wondering how much she knows about Tyrell.
Oh, I think she knows everything.
Why he's gone. And what's going on with
I think she knows
F-Society.
everything. I think she knows as much as DiPiero knows. That's probably not true, but I bet she knows a ton.
But does DiPiero know? DiPiero doesn't know that they're planning on blowing up the...
That she does not know.
At least we don't think. Otherwise, they'd be stopping.
Joanna might know that.
Yeah. I bet she does, because that's why Tyrell's been gone the whole time, is specifically for that one plan.
Yeah.
The second phase.
Yeah. Okay, we got to get into these storylines. Yeah.
Dark Army motives, before we get into it, is that just so they have control over Price? Is this all so they have a hand in Evil Corp?
I think so, but now I'm confused about Price's motivations. There was a scene that made me think Price had been in on the hack the whole time.
Because of the E-coins?
Because now E-Corp can literally make their own currency.
They print money.
Which sounded like it was his plan the whole time.
Oh, with Dark Army.
I kind of think maybe.
Oh.
I kind of think maybe he was like, yeah, do it. Let's do it. Because he's never been angry about this.
No, he's always been in complete control of it. He's known what to do, how to handle it.
He's never had a problem. And he's never had a problem with Angela clearly
he's
being involved with the Dark Army or F Society.
Is that why he's been so fine with Angela and kind of taken him under taken her under his wing is because
I think so, and we've got to figure out what the hell Angela knows and what she's been doing this whole time, because I'm confused
that ending
about
scene. She seemed to know way more than we thought.
She seemed to know everything.
Everything. Like, she knew where Tyrell was the whole time?
I think so.
I think so, too. But does that mean Price does?
She seemed to know that Elliot had been shot.
Yeah.
And that
he needed to be shot.
That was part of the plan.
Well, if
so
it was like a backup, yeah.
And she seemed to
know. And she's like, good. You needed, not good, but she says you did what you needed to do.
But I think she knows everything on the F Society side before, and only a little bit on the Dark Army side. Now she knows everything on the Dark Army side.
And we think Price is maybe Dark Army?
Helping. And she benefits from that directly because she's in with Price. We should save that to the end.
Okay, I want to talk about more.
Okay, I do too, because this episode is freaking crazy.
Because there's also some stuff with Deep Hero's web chart, whatever you call that there are some people missing.
Okay, I want to know about that. Well, Trenton and Mobley I didn't see. Mobley was on Trenton
it. Trenton and Price wasn't on there then.
Yeah. She might not have
or
made
any
that
Dark
connection.
Army.
No Dark Army was on there. It was all F Society.
Except for Trenton.
Trenton I did not see. But that doesn't mean she wasn't there, but I didn't see her.
Or that means... okay. There's theories.
Did you see
Trenton might be working with them.
Possibly. Did you see the scene after the credits?
Yeah.
Okay, that showed up for you this time.
Yes.
Okay, good. Because
thankfully, I left the credits on because I was still taking notes. Otherwise,
it came fast this time.
It did.
It came much. I think because so many people missed it last season.
Yeah, I did.
They just bumped it up like sooner.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, here it is.
Good.
Which is a good scene.
Because it was a big.
And I feel like you'd be really excited about it.
It's really great.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's
start
the podcast.
Yeah. Here's starting the podcast.
Here we go. 90-minute show. Now we have to figure out what storyline to start with. The shortest would be probably Price.
Yeah.
Which is really, we already talked about.
Sort of, yeah. So we see him talking to, I assume that was like the chairman of the Fed.
He has something to do with the Treasury. Because he's been in it before.
Somebody big in the U.S. economy.
Yeah.
And like, he's important. He knows the president. He's got a direct line. And basically, this guy won't let Price do e-coin loans to people.
Because that's printing. It's basically printing their own currency.
It's printing your own currency. But Price is like, well, why not? It works out for everybody if I do this.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, what do you mean it works out for everybody? It works out for you. Basically, we kind of dissect this and figure out that that Price wants to print his own money. So this all kind of worked in his favor, whether he had meant to or not, which I think he was involved.
I think that's a good assumption. We don't know one way or the other.
Price is too smart to let something like this, especially based on his connection with White Rose, he's too smart to just let something like this just like fall in his lap, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so.
I think he has more, he knows more about this.
And he may not be Dark Army. He may not know that he's dealing with the Dark Army,
right.
But he is dealing with Minister Zhang,
yeah,
who is
Dark Army. And like, I think the hack overall, while it created a lot of stress, did not create any problems for him, really, in the long run. Like, he's going to come out on top. There's a little bit of a bubble, but in the end, he comes out very, very well.
Because he's gotten rid of everyone above him.
Which would really mean, this is crazy, that what F Society is doing completely helped Price and Evil Corp the whole time.
Yes.
Like,
it seems to so far.
Although I don't know.
Except for the sending part, we'll see.
The second part, I don't know. Yeah.
The second.
Phase 2, I don't know. I feel like Phase 2 is.
And that's where I'm wondering where Dark Army's motives
where they will end up. Yeah.
Because they've already loaned the money, but if they're involved in blowing up this.
China has loaned the money.
Well.
Yeah.
That's all Minister Zhang.
It's facilitated by. Yeah.
So he knows that they're loaning money to a corporation that they're about to blow up all documentation.
Yeah. Unclear.
So.
Because Dark Army knows about Phase 2.
Exactly.
They're in on it.
Exactly.
Very
That's what I'm saying. Like, they know what's going to happen, confusing. Yet they're still involved in. So
maybe White Rose is playing Price. Price thinks he knows everything, but then.
Is this somehow going to help Price even more?
Could.
But
then it's like we have no choice. We can't even build back up from where we are.
That's
we have
true.
to do this. That could be.
Yeah.
The other thing is, remember that Price said in the last episode before this was something like, "I'm the most powerful person in the room, except for maybe two." I mean,
and
this would be a thing where
he's not,
and that could have been a little bit of foreshadowing.
White Rose,
that he thinks he's in control here, but he maybe said maybe two, but really it's maybe three.
Yeah,
like he's not on top of this as much
Definitely.
as he thinks he is. I think that could be for sure.
Yeah. Is that all we see of Price?
Yeah,
because that's all I have.
I think that's it.
But
I
it
think
was
that's
huge.
all he has. It was amazingly important, incredibly important. Yeah.
All right. I guess Joanna's.
Let's do Joanna's.
She's shorter.
It's shorter, and
Not a ton to do with
so far
directly.
At this point, it's less relevant.
Yeah,
but it will become relevant in the future. Very much
it's going to be great. I think the most exciting thing is we find out who's been sending the gifts,
which is
Scott,
the
CTO.
Barnes, is that his name? Barnes?
I don't know. I always
Something.
just write down first names.
Scott.
I'll fix that for next season.
Scott, what's his name?
Scott, the CTO.
Yes.
Has been sending the baby rattler, the music box, the cell phone, everything.
Yes. And okay, so I have a question here. Do you think Joanna really thought it was Tyrell, or do you think she thought it was this guy? Because part of me thinks she thought it was this guy the whole time.
I don't know if we ever see her figuring it out. So she must have known the whole time. There's never been like a moment where she all of a sudden realizes that it's not Tyrell. Because if she knows what Tyrell's doing, which is our assumption right now,
I think so.
Then she knows that the gifts are not from Tyrell.
Right. I think that I think she knew that it was Scott the whole time.
The whole time.
She was just trying to get confirmation that it was him to be sure, but she was pretty sure the whole time.
Didn't she answer the phone once and ask for Tyrell? Or am I thinking?
But I think the phone might have been Tyrell
on the music box.
Oh no, that would have been Scott. Yeah.
I'm maybe not remembering that correctly.
Yeah, I don't think so.
That may have been an Elliot scene that I'm thinking of. Okay. I
think it was
for how much she knows, she probably knew the whole time.
I think she knew. And I think because her plan, which to me is pretty clearly to get her new boyfriend framed for the murder of Sharon Barnes or whatever.
No.
You don't think so?
Her plan. Wait, what?
Okay.
Her plan is to.
You think it's to frame Scott
for
that murder? I think it's to frame her boyfriend for that murder.
Oh, because he was bartending. And Scott for sure has an alibi that whole time. He was with people literally the entire whole time, and he wouldn't have been.
So she got him to beat her up.
Yeah.
He's going to go mess up Scott.
Yep.
He's going to come back, and they're going to say, "Who did this to you?" And she's going to say him.
The boyfriend.
Yeah.
Oh.
To save Tyrell.
Yes.
That's my prediction.
And there's no way she's taking down Scott.
Because why is that boyfriend worth anything at this point?
I thought they'd broken up as well. I thought they were over.
That's also probably why they've been doing so much choking play. Like,
maybe.
I think maybe she's been working on this for a while.
I was gonna. This was when she was getting beaten up by.
That was a troubling
Scott,
scene to watch.
I didn't know if she was enjoying it because she likes that.
Oh, I think she
abuse,
enjoyed it a little bit. Yeah,
but I don't know how much of that she enjoys because it's sexual and how much she wouldn't have because this was violent. But it was either way. It was a troubling scene.
It was troubling to watch.
Yeah, they can get kind of brutal with some of these.
He beat the hell out of her too. Her whole face was pretty. I mean, it was pretty.
It was
bad.
bloody.
It was very bad. And
she
took it. She was very much
it was crazy.
That was clear that it was her plan to get him to beat her up.
Yeah.
She was going to provoke him,
and she did.
And as it was happening, she did that snake thing that she does, where she looks like a snake.
She always,
She kind of is in the corner of the screen, and she's giving a thing, and then all of a sudden, I'm like, Scott, you watch out. This time, she didn't strike. But he struck, and she
kind of struck with the.
She struck with the words.
The wife and the baby fetus thing.
Oh yeah,
that was a strike.
But she didn't I could see her getting physically violent at some point, but
I think she's too smart for that. She either has someone else do it.
Yeah, that's probably true.
And she just uses words.
She is a freaking badass.
She is. She's awesome.
I love her.
She's really great.
I wanted just a whole show of her.
Yeah, that's all of it. I'm
mostly
curious to
it,
see
yeah.
if I think you're right about the boyfriend.
Yeah, I think she's framing that boyfriend because why else would he still be around at this point? Because he's nothing.
No, he's
why
not.
else would he still be around, and why would they not develop his character further if
Yes,
he was not
he hasn't
that
been
way?
in it for
Like he's just been nothing.
Episodes and
He's
episodes.
been nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I think
I'm
that's
curious to
mostly
see
the
that.
Joanna thing.
Now it gets tough because
They start to intertwine.
everything
little bit more.
intertwines and it's like all insane. One interesting choice was Darlene didn't even show up until part 2.
Yeah,
We could go into Darlene's.
I think so. I think we should do Darlene because
it's shorter and it's over pretty quickly.
yes. So we're left all of part 1 not knowing Darlene's fate. We don't know if she's dead or alive.
Yeah.
We know Cisco is dead.
Well, we know.
She says we shouldn't have released the sketch. I knew they would kill him, and they did.
Oh,
or
yeah,
something
yeah,
like
yeah.
that to
You're
the
right.
boss. So we know
Yep.
Cisco died, but then she says 6 people have lost their lives, and we don't know if it was Darlene or not. And so then,
Yeah, and so that's. You're saying that's the reason they didn't put her in part 1? Yeah, it was really.
it was
very well done.
Yeah, it was
I agree.
really. If that had been last week, I would have been like, no,
Yeah.
I need to know.
I'm so glad I watched these in one
Yeah,
sitting.
yeah.
So
That would've
basically,
been
we start
very
with
fresh.
Darlene in the FBI room with DiPiero and that boss, the dumb boss guy.
Santiago, maybe
Something
like that.
I should have X-rayed it. And seen,
Whatever.
but-
He sucks.
Yeah. Anyway,
I hate him.
he's awful.
I feel like he's going to become more important next season, but I hate him.
Maybe they'll take him down and
Yeah.
give him his comeuppance. So
Yeah.
Cisco is definitely dead.
Cisco's dead.
And we kind of saw that coming the whole season.
Yeah.
Like
He was
There's
was not long for the show.
no,
Like he was
and
sort of
Dark Army's been kind of out
threatening
for him.
him and yeah.
So Darlene is being all uppy and she doesn't think they know anything. She's still under the impression. This
She
is what's
thinks
so
they-
great about the
I
scene.
know.
And it goes on for so long. Her like pleading the fifth and her being like
Which
kind
you
of a
cannot
jerk.
do in this case.
See,
Like,
and I don't know the
I don't think you can plead the fifth just like
in questioning.
I think that's only for court.
I thought so, but I have no idea. I mean, she doesn't have to talk though. She doesn't have to plead the fifth.
Yeah, she doesn't have to speak.
She can just
doesn't
not
have to
speak, but
and they keep saying like she keeps saying I plead the fifth, and the guy's like, look, we have the Patriot Act. You
Yeah.
cannot plead the fifth at this point.
yeah,
you
you're
are
a terrorist.
You are a terrorist.
Yeah.
Basically.
I mean, yeah.
She is.
She is.
She's an economic terrorist completely.
But yeah, she's just such a jerk. She's still
She's so
just
crabby.
thinks she is still like on top, and they know nothing, and she's so confident, and then
And
like
DiPiero is taking this very interesting approach with her. She's like,
that's how she approaches
I'm like
everyone.
You. I'm like you. We can relate. We can get down to this. We can understand. I can understand this. And
That's-
what is she uses something against her? Oh, the stuff they find in Cisco's apartment.
Oh yeah,
She's
the
like,
mask,
look.
the videotape,
She's like, look,
not the videotape, the camera.
Yeah. Darlene's being a real brat, and
Mm-hmm.
so finally DiPiero was like, I'm going to go get something, I'm going to show it to you. And at this point, I thought DiPiero was going to play her hand right here, but she didn't yet.
No.
She waited one more move. She put out the camera,
She's the best.
the videotapes, or like the VCR, and
Something
maybe
else.
not a VCR, but like an editor thing.
Yeah,
And then
It's like a hard drive
the
or something.
mask. She
Yep.
puts it all out on the table, and she's like, we're going to run fingerprints and DNA on this. If we find this, you're going to be implicated in this. And she's like, that doesn't prove anything. Me and Cisco like to do some freaky
Yeah.
stuff.
still just
We
being
like to film freaky stuff.
yeah,
And she's like, okay, come with me.
yeah.
And so she walks through the office. This scene was
To
amazing.
this great scene.
This great song.
And
And everybody is looking at her. And that was, we should have known what was going to be behind this door.
I want to mention that the song lyrics were about a moth going to the flame, even though
Yeah.
it's like dangerous.
Yes.
They do it because it's light and it's their nature. And
Yep.
I loved this setup.
That was perfect
But
for
yeah,
Darlene.
everyone's like standing up and looking at her as
Which
if
is
she's
like-
important.
Which at that point I should have been like, oh yeah, this
They
is
know
what's
her.
going to be. But they didn't. That was unclear. We
Oh,
you
I
sort of
figured it out as soon as they all started standing
did.
up and looking.
I
I'm like,
didn't.
they
Yeah.
know.
I
that
was like,
Dar-
what's going to be on
They
this
know
wall?
Darlene is a big deal
Yeah.
because otherwise they would just keep working.
And
Like,
so they go.
Oh, it was awesome.
They go into the room and you see DiPiero explain what she calls the pyth0n approach
Yeah.
or something, which is where we get the title of the episode, which is to basically like
Sit back and wait.
sit back and wait for it all to come together. They've done all their we find out that they've done all their research and they just wait for everybody to fall, like
Mhm.
all the chips to fall. And she reveals some important information that Romero
Yeah.
was not murdered. I mean, he was, but it was by accident. It
Yes.
was not. Somebody didn't come and kill him. It was a stray bullet that got him, and that is what set it all in motion because they freaked out.
Yeah,
as though they were.
I do want to point out one thing I found. I've been really like interested in the titles because they're always like tech related to Elliot.
Yeah.
And so when I saw python, I figured it's something like that. There's a programming language called python.
Okay.
I didn't think it would be that, but something I wouldn't know about. But then this is the one title I think where it's actually related to the FBI. And I thought that was an interesting
I agree.
switch right at the finale to not have something with Elliot, but with DiPiero. So.
Agreed. So then she turns around, and finally the camera turns around, and this whole time Darlene is looking at this thing just like aghast, completely thrown off. And they show everybody that's involved in this.
The huge web chart on this wall.
And I found it a little sad to see, like, when they passed over, like, Gideon's face, it had the red X through it, and Ramiro, it's like, oh, that's
Ramiro
sad. Like,
had missing over Mobley.
Yeah, it was like, oh, this is sad. These are real people in this universe. But then, like, basically, DiPiero's like, we know everything, and you are screwed, girlfriend, because you want to help us.
But there are two... And is that the end of Darlene?
That's the end
so
of Darlene.
So we don't know if Darlene's going to talk,
or
if Darlene's just going to take it.
Now, keep in mind, Darlene's biggest fear is being captured by the FBI.
Yes.
Like, so this is playing on her like deepest, darkest fear, which is obvious because F Society's totally unorganized and totally stupid. Like, in a lot of ways, even Elliot is so sloppy with what he does. Like,
I mean, he went to jail to get away from it.
Yeah, and he thinks like his best way of getting away from people is putting his hood up and walking around.
Yes, that's
which
true.
is like, that doesn't stop someone from following you. It makes it more obvious who you are. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Because they still like behave the same way. None of them have like changed their appearances. None of them have like left. Like you would think, other than Mobley and Trenton, which would be smart, would be to just like, I'm out, like I'm heading out. So,
but I mean, they know that Mobley's involved.
They
so
know
it's not
Mobley's
like he's
involved,
gone.
yeah.
I mean, he's gone, but not
Forgotten.
like under their radar, or out of their radar.
Right.
So I think the two most interesting things about this chart that I think are going to come up in next season is Trenton not being there.
Okay.
I don't think there's any way they wouldn't know Trenton's involved.
Not if they know Mobley's involved.
Be surprised if Trenton is somehow working with them. Remember there's that knock on the door?
Yeah.
Before they disappeared?
Yes.
Could that we never knew what that was, right?
No.
Could that have been
it was Mobley looking up somebody came in.
But there was a knock for Trenton as well. Wasn't there? Or did she just leave? No, she was
left.
at the coffee shop.
Yeah. Well, he was at the coffee shop, and somebody came in, and we weren't to know who it was. And it turned out to be Trenton, is what we find out.
Oh.
I think was what,
I still could see Trenton somehow at some point
I could see Trenton
being
for
roped
the
in
FBI.
Because she was not on that board. And that is, I think that's huge. It could turn out to be nothing.
I want to get onto Reddit and look at that board a little bit more. Because
that's true.
because it was moving,
Yes,
I didn't get quite as much of a look at it as
I guess I did only look by Mobley for her, but...
She could have been, but I think that's a safe assumption. That she would be in the same region as Mobley because they have the same job.
Yes.
Her and Ramiro and Mobley all are the same person.
So I think that's huge. And then, did you notice who's at the center of it all?
Well, Elliot and Tyrell.
Tyrell
is really the center.
And so is that the truth, or is that their perception of
I think that's their
Do we still think Elliot's at the center?
I thought they were like equals at the center.
Oh, that's not how I saw it. I saw everything going to Tyrell.
You did?
Because Elliot went to Tyrell, and all the other webs, didn't they?
I don't know. I want to look at it a little bit.
I wish I would have like printed that.
Yeah, that would have been good to look at. I think they think Tyrell's at the center of this, but I don't know that Tyrell is.
Because he didn't do anything with the first attack. He's only been involved for stage 2.
Well, he was there for the first attack.
Oh, that's right.
He didn't program
He finished it, didn't he? He was there. He didn't like plan it, but he was there to. Yeah.
I actually, now I'm thinking about it, Tyrell may be totally behind all of this, and Tyrell and of all people, Angela, that could be like involved.
Tyrell and Angela.
Yeah,
and she was up there, so
we
know
she was on the board involved, and it didn't look like accidental involvement. Like with Gideon, it was like the line was smaller to him. Like it was like. He's connected to Elliot because he's his former boss and the owner of Allsafe, and there were some of these sort of auxiliary characters who were off to the side, but Angela was in it, I think. So,
and that also means, I can't. I was trying to find that web, whatever you call it on the Google, but I can't. So
okay.
But that also means when DiPiero talked to Angela after Angela,
I've got it here, I think,
put the femtocell in the FBI floor.
Yeah,
that means that DiPiero knew that Angela was part of all this, and still DiPiero just kind of talked to her like she wasn't. And I think that definitely brings up an interesting point for this like pyth0n approach.
Trenton's on the board.
Oh,
I've got the board here. She's down in the low left-hand corner.
So she's not by Mobley.
She's connected to Mobley directly and Darlene.
Oh, can I see it?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Here, okay,
well,
we got to do a little rearranging.
We'll just cut all that out of the episode and pretend.
No, we'll leave. It's good. So
that's weird.
Yeah, Tyrell is at the center. You're right about
everything
that.
goes to Tyrell, right?
They don't have a picture of Trenton. She's just like female.
What?
Like okay. So
yeah, just show. I mean,
that's just that's zoomed in.
Oh, I see.
And
so
Angela is close to the middle.
That's weird that they don't have her in the same box as Mobley, Ramiro, and Darlene.
They think she's way more peripheral than she is. Yeah.
So that's interesting, but I apologize then.
No. I think that would have been very hard to see because there's not a picture of her.
No. So maybe, Tyrell's at the center. There is a lot going to Elliot too. But
there's a lot going to Elliot, and there's a lot going, like, Angela is close
Angela's in there.
to the middle.
Oh my god!
That should have been our clue right there. I bet that Angela is more.
Yeah, I didn't even
more close to this.
Well,
than
again, they showed so quickly, and there's a lot of text on the side I didn't read either.
We're gonna have to really deep dive on this. I feel like
we
this
really
is
should have read this before. Man,
I know.
I didn't realize there was all that writing on the side. But
yeah,
all right.
The whole room is filled with whiteboards covered in writing.
Wow. All right,
and everybody is on here. Like, you've got. Now, hold on. Who's down here? Oh, F Society militants. Okay, those are random people.
Yeah.
Shayla is on this board.
Oh, geez.
They
that was
down
a long time ago.
Shayla. Like, that's nuts. They've got... Oh, Joanna is in here, connected to the guy who got killed. Like, they know about that.
Oh, wow.
They know literally everything.
Is Scott on there? Connected to Joanna? Scott Knowles? Or Price?
Scott Knowles is on there. Yes. She's not... They don't have him... Oh, no. They don't have Scott connected to Joanna. Scott is connected to...
Tyrell?
Through the E-Corp. Sort of.
Yeah.
There's sort of like an E-Corp box.
So they don't know, or at least they don't... Okay, so they didn't note that Joanna and Scott kind of interact, or it's not important. All right.
Oh... Sorry.
Let's do one last thing and then probably move on. But
yeah, there's a Dark Army section. Minister Zhang is not on there. I don't think.
White Rose, though?
Nobody for White Rose. Not on there. It's just 4 people. It's Gao Shun, Li Wei Chen, Shang Jima, and Francisco Shaw Cisco.
So Cisco, and then is one of
3
them...
Chinese guys.
Is one of them the guy who like shoved the needle in Cisco's finger?
Probably it's
and then
Shun. Gao Shun.
Shun's the assistant.
I think that was the same guy.
No, the assistant's like a skinnier.
Oh.
Right? The guy who's like shoved the finger is the bigger...
Okay, they've got... Yeah.
But they have
There's
Shun
no
on
picture
there?
They have no picture of Shun.
Oh, because he's the assistant, like, directly to...
They've got 2 specific Chinese guys associated with the Beijing attack, specifically.
Wow.
Oh, man, this is detailed.
Good job, FBI.
You know what? This, is actually helpful. I would love to just keep this with me.
Sure.
Because this is great.
Yeah. I didn't even realize how much was on there. I wish I would have looked it up beforehand. I just thought it was... I'm glad you looked it up so we could correct the Trenton thing before...
Yeah. What they don't know is that Darlene killed Susan, but they think Cisco killed Susan.
Oh, yeah. That's good, though. Because he's dead.
Interestingly, you know what? Angela has 4 lines coming from her.
Yeah, we should have
That should be. She's connected to, or she has 3, I guess. One of them is just to Gideon as her bust.
We should have. I mean, just how close she is to the center, I think, probably is important. We should have
She's connected to. I mean, think about it. She's connected to Allsafe. She's connected directly to Elliot, and she's connected to E-Corp.
But we also know that
she's also connected to F Society, and now connected to Dark Army.
Yeah,
so she's like very much involved in this.
And we already knew that DiPiero knew some stuff because she went and talked to her in her apartment. But I don't think we were ever under the impression how much.
It says here on FBI floor, no surveillance tape with her connection to E-Corp. So
okay,
this is interesting. This is interesting stuff.
Nice job, Miss Sam Esmail.
Like, this is a nice thing to include. This is sort of meta, actually, if you think about it. Like, he just gave everyone like a, hey, you know how confused you are?
Yes.
Here it all is in graphical form.
Here's
a nice flow chart you can use to figure it out.
It is
which
nice.
is helpful. I mean, and he knew somebody's going to screenshot that. Like, it's going to happen. So,
all right,
love it.
Great. I think it's time to go on to.
Yeah, let's move on.
Oh gosh, there's still so much.
There's a lot.
Basically, about what Angela Elliott,
DiPiero,
kind of.
DiPiero. I feel like
we can
talk
finish
about
with her.
Let's talk.
That was her big scene.
Let's talk about like what has been going on with DiPiero before this. So we see her first immediately after the attack, again having like a psych eval done to make sure she's okay, and she's like, I am fine. Let me go. There's stuff going on. She's in a hospital gown, like they've examined her to make sure she's not hurt. I think she's covered in blood. It's not hers. It's probably Cisco's. And she's trying to get out, and they're like, nope, go home, rest. You need to rest immediately. And she's like, they're getting away. Dark Army people are getting away. And she's trying to convince her boss, right? She's trying to convince him that the Dark Army and the Chinese government are connected, I think, is kind of what she's thinking.
I'll trust you on that.
And nobody in the room believes her. It all sounds like conspiracy theories. Finally, he kicks everybody out, and they talk individually, and he's like, yeah, I know, but we need to be smart about how we do this, I feel like.
Oh, okay.
Like, because she wants to pursue the Dark Army more specifically, but he doesn't necessarily agree with her. I'm not sure. There's like some weird...
Okay.
Basically, their tactics that they want to take are slightly different, and so they're trying to kind of figure that out.
Okay.
So she goes home, and she's clearly depressed.
Yeah, that's basically all I got out of this.
I thought she was going to kill herself. Like,
oh, really?
In this episode, based on this. Yeah.
She definitely has some troubles outside of her job.
She's very deeply depressed. You can tell.
We do find out that China did bail out Evil Corp.
Yep.
So my thought there was that Dark Army's motives, or at least White Rose's, was so that like Evil Corp and kind of America would be dependent on China.
Yeah.
But then this Stage 2 thing confused me on that because that's going to mess it up. But we'll see in Season 3.
I think it's going to mess it up. We don't know what
that's going to be Season 3, I think, a lot of it.
I think Stage 2 is going to be Season 3. We're going to see an explosion, hopefully.
It's going to be... All right. And then,
I hope we see an explosion.
So yeah, then we see DiPiero just talking to Alexa.
Yeah.
Alexa
Still
being the...
Alexa.
That's the...
Amazon. Like...
AI.
Yeah.
So if you've ever seen the movie Her...
Yep.
It's kind of like that, just kind of becoming friends and a little too close with the AI. The first question, or one of the first questions, is, Alexa, are we friends? And then it just kind of spirals down into this depressing dialogue.
She asks her what color her eyes are, which was interesting.
Yeah.
Like, and it ends with her asking, Alexa, do you love me? And Alexa goes, I don't really do that sort of thing. Or I'm not really built for that sort of thing. And then it ends, and she goes to sleep. And she says something like kind of creepy, like "Good night, Alexa," like, which is, that creeped me out. Like,
really?
I felt like she's so mentally unstable.
She is outside of her job,
and I felt really scared for her and really bad for her about what the demons that she's got going on. Whatever,
personally, yeah. And
like,
we
she's
know those
so
are
lonely.
We know that's going to come up if she comes. Well, she'll be back in Season 3.
She has to be.
She's such a great character.
She's an amazing
character. This is going to somehow go against her. This is somehow going to be her
is going to happen to her.
End.
Yeah.
Because they're setting it up so heavily throughout this season.
Yeah.
Yet we never really see a result of it.
Right.
And I really think that's going to come up in Season 3. Because again, she's so competent when she's at work.
Yeah, I think.
But outside of work, she's just a
mess.
She is
Total mess. Like
just depression,
but also like this like sort of manic behavior at times, like eating
can't
the
stop
suckers
talking,
and blah 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 blah
Yes.
to everybody at the gas station.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird.
Mm-hmm.
She's not well. She's not well, and I feel bad for her because I like her so much as a professional character, and I just feel so much empathy for her outside, because it's like this person is a good guy. Like this person is really, I mean, say what you will about corporations and stuff, whatever's going on here is not cool. Like whatever F Society is doing now is not helpful. It's not like I think early on their motives were like, we're gonna take away America's dependence on corporations.
Very
it's very altruistic, but now it's gotten to this sinister place.
Yes.
Any involvement with the Dark Army, any involvement by E-Corps in this their own like thing makes this like very questionable. And in this case, the FBI is totally good. I think that they're warranted. They are doing the correct thing. They're doing their job. They're doing what's supposed to be. And so I feel bad for the good guy because she doesn't get as much screen time. Like the good guy in a show all about bad guys, basically, is what we're watching. And so
bad guys who we were like supporting in season 1.
Yes.
And now kind of not.
Kind of not.
Kind of like
they're going to kill people.
Stage 2 is insane.
Stage 2 is a terrorist attack. Like not just
so
a cyber
stage 1.
terrorism. Not just cyber terrorism, straight up terrorism.
Yeah.
Think about how many people are going to be working in that building doing data entry. Like tons. And they're going to all die.
That's the entire building's point. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all data entry there. So
yep. People who really probably have no liege to
and people that they
corp.
are trying to get out of evil corp's grasp.
Yeah, people who just need
like,
jobs.
People who need jobs. People who are poor. People who need, and that's who they're going to take. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who have no other skills,
but
can't afford to go to college. Like that's
it's all for the greater good.
Yeah.
And F Society knows what that is, I guess.
I don't think they do.
No, I don't think they do.
I think they're nuts. I think they've gone cuckoo, crazy crackers.
Well, we know Elliot's nuts, and Elliot's the one who's planning it.
Yeah, and Elliot's like, why?
And Elliot doesn't even know what he planned.
And why is everybody
crazy?
like? Why is everybody like? Yeah, Elliot's got it all together when he's literally talking to himself and like running around and doing
they literally
stuff.
won't tell him anything because they're like, you're only supposed to know as much as you know.
Half of your personality knows. Like, what the heck? What the heck?
Like, why are you following this guy who is insane?
Yeah, like this is stupid, guys.
It's so weird.
Tyrell, you should be smarter than this.
Yeah.
Darlene, you should be smarter than this. Angela, what the hell are you thinking?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
But I love at the end. I'll skip to it just when they both say they love him.
Yeah.
Like, I love that moment.
They do.
It's so touching, but it's like, are you only following him because of love?
And you're kind of stupid.
Because at a certain point, you have to say he's nuts.
We need to get
He needs
help.
to maybe get help and not follow his plans of blowing up buildings.
Well, Elliot needs to be in an institution.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not talking prison. Like, he needs to be in a mental institution because
he's insane.
He's fully insane. He's completely dissociating.
He needs help.
Up until this episode, even he wasn't sure if he was dissociating into a third person.
Yeah.
Which is Tyrell, which we find out is not the
Yes.
case. Tyrell is real. And we for sure confirm that with... It's
I
not
almost
even,
thought my prediction was going to come true.
I did too. I
was
for
like,
sure
what?
did.
I called this 12 episodes. No, I was wrong. But
we don't even get confirmation, true, deep confirmation of that, because he could have shot himself in the stomach.
Because he did
and
it.
So it's like, who shot him?
It was like the first episode where he shoots himself to get rid of Mr. Robot.
Yes.
And we think it's real for a second.
Yes. And it's like,
and
okay,
so I'm like,
oh,
this is the same thing, but is it going to be real?
It's backwards. Like, it's. We find out then that it's. We don't find out. We don't find out until the last scenes that Tyrell is a real person, because we see him and Elliot both on the FBI board, and we hear Tyrell talking to Angela.
Yeah.
So it's like, what the heck? Like, this is nuts.
Yeah, Elliot. I don't understand why no one's getting Elliot help.
Exactly.
Like, are they all in denial that he's...
Well, think about who's around him. There's no adults around him. Like, everybody who he hangs out with are children.
That's true.
Or very self-motivated. And that I'm including Tyrell.
Yep.
As Tyrell's kind of a child in a lot of... He's very immature. But, I mean, other than that, who does Elliot hang around with? He hangs around with Mr. Robot, who's an adult. but a figment of his imagination.
But, yeah.
So there's no parental guidance here for him in any way. And so nobody's seeing this. And he suppressed this in jail so that specifically he wouldn't get sent to like psych.
Yeah.
Because he totally would have if he's just like talking to himself the whole time.
Yep.
This is nuts.
But yep, he's going to blow up a building.
He's going to blow up a building.
Do we need to go over a lot of... Do we want to go with Angela?
Yeah, let's do Angela quick.
Because hers was bizarre.
Bizarre. This creeped me out.
It was...
Like,
I thought it was...
In the same way American Horror Story creeped me out. I was like, what am I watching?
I thought it was all in her imagination.
I thought it was a dream. Yeah. But it was not a dream.
It was White Rose being... herself.
Crazy, insane, weird. Yeah.
And they got this girl...
The little girl to be Angela, almost.
It looked.
Did you notice how she was dressed with the hair back and the like little suit?
Yep.
And so Angela gets kidnapped by the people, or like taken by the people on the subway, thrown into a van. Elliot doesn't help with that or something. Like we don't see what happens in that minute.
I think Elliot was already. Oh yeah, I don't know.
Like maybe they didn't. He knew who it was.
Oh, possibly.
Like he knew who it was. So she gets thrown into a van with a cage behind it, and she's taken in the back. They take her to suburbia, like she's trying to get out. And did you notice, was there significance to Davy Crockett playing in this van?
I don't know, but the song choice was great.
It had to be specific. Like there was something weird about it. I was like,
it was a weird
this?
Song choice.
Yeah, what is this?
But I don't know why that would be
I can't
connected.
I don't know Davy Crockett well enough to make a connection.
Bizarre
there.
Song choice. I loved when they walked in the house because everything was black and white. Did you notice that?
In the house?
All the decor
was black and white.
Black and white.
Yeah.
Like you walked in the living room and it was just black and white pillows. And that's when I kind of figured it was White Rose because of that.
I was still not convinced of who it was.
Oh, really?
I was like, who the hell is this?
That kind of gave it away to me.
That's good.
Just because of that like two personality, black
that's
and
a good,
white,
good.
stark contrast.
Did you notice that all the photos in the house had little red dots over the faces, which was really weird? They had tape or something over them, so there's no faces. So it's probably someone else's house. Yeah,
I don't know.
They take her into a bedroom, or
it's kind of like Jessica Jones when he gets the childhood home.
Actually, yes,
like,
it was a
like
lot
that.
like Jessica Jones, like creepy, weird,
it's just
like
suburbia
psycho
home.
Thing.
Yeah.
So they take her into a bedroom where the walls are all black and it's dark, pretty much.
There's like a fish tank.
There's a fish tank with a giant fish in it,
large
giant koi fish.
Yeah.
And
Commodore 64 old computer in the middle,
and a copy
red phone.
of a red phone, and a copy of Lolita.
Yeah,
which
book.
has to be significant in some way. But
she uses it as a clue later on.
Isn't Lolita? Lolita is about a older man who sleeps with a young girl, right?
I don't know.
Or it falls in love with a young girl. I think it is.
Never have heard of it.
And that kind of represents Angela in a lot of ways, doesn't it? Isn't she sort of a Lolita?
Oh, she hits on a lot of old guys this season.
Yeah, I think she's a bit of a Lolita. That's what it's saying.
Okay,
that makes more sense now. So that tells that they know a lot about Angela. But as they go in, they lock her into the room, or so it's she's locked in, and a little girl comes in through a different door, which is super weird. And this little girl starts asking Angela questions and saying, "We don't have much time. We don't have much time." Which at that point I should have been like, "Oh, now it's White Rose for sure."
Time. Yep.
But we don't have much time. We don't have much time. We need to get all these questions answered, basically. And she starts asking her the most strange, random questions you could ask a person. Like, are you purple or red? Where is the key?
Have you ever cried during sex?
Have you ever cried during sex? And Angela's like, I'm not answering these. Like, I don't want to answer this. And eventually...
And she's answering the answers into, like, a video game.
Yeah.
She opens up this video game called Echodelia, I think.
Yeah,
which I don't think there's significance.
Probably not.
I think it was just for the show.
I wonder if that's going to be released, that video game.
I'm sure there's some simulations coming out.
Yeah.
But basically it's like this text adventure video game.
Yeah.
And basically the girl just asks her the text adventure questions that you would get asked and then enters in Angela's answers.
Yeah.
And there's even a part where I loved this. When the phone rings, This is about the key.
Yes.
And the phone rings, and there's like this like robotic voice.
Yes.
And it is a straight up generic text adventure quote. Like,
yes.
You are standing in a hall.
Yes. I love those. Those are so fun.
It was amazing. And like just harkens
so
straight back to like the 80s.
Yes.
Before
what is that one game called? Like A Dark Room? Is that what it's called? And it's similar to that, I think.
There's so
there's
many probably
of those. Yeah.
some classics. But I mean, that was like what games were up until like, I mean, early 90s even had text adventures. I mean, it was just so good. And then, she like sees this Lolita book and figures kind of out the key. And it was this thing was bizarre.
It was very strange.
But somehow there's results.
Yes.
This is to get results. So the girl goes away. Oh, the fish, the background water is slowly draining.
Yep.
So that's somehow like her time hourglass, I guess.
Yes, it's not an hourglass. This fish is going to die.
It's acting as an hourglass.
Yeah, exactly.
And right here in my notes, I said it's weird that Angela's storyline got to this point based on like the first 8-10 episodes. But so the girl goes and to get her results, and then White Rose comes in, and she doesn't recognize her as the minister. Remember, they became very well acquainted that one evening.
That's correct.
That was
DiPiero, I think.
Yeah, that was not Angela.
Yeah, Angela didn't go to China.
Never mind. And wants to know why she's so special to Price.
Yeah.
So she doesn't know.
So she doesn't know. So this is this muddies the waters for me even more. I was trying to figure it out, and so the fish dies, which I'm sure is symbolic in some way.
Probably.
And so they have this like weird sort of long discussion where I don't think anything is really unveiled or announced. It was like, what's going on?
It was all
kind
of cryptic to me.
And it was all so weird. Mm-hmm. And Angela's just like, I'm ready to go.
Yep.
Let me go. And then she doesn't. So then the next time we see Angela, we see her in a kind of creepy scene. So pulling up to the lawyer's house. Yeah. Did you find this unsettling? The way it was shot?
Oh, I don't know the way it's shot. So, just Angela's behaviors.
Oh, well, that's a different issue entirely. Yeah. But so we see the lawyer. What's her? I don't remember her name. The girl, the woman who was helping with the Washington Township leaks. We see her in her house, and we can see out her window, which is open. We see a black truck pull up and Angela run up to the door, which something about that freaked me out because it's
her
like
running to the door.
Well, I was like something about like seeing that view because she's unaware of what's going on, or the lawyer is completely unaware of what's going on, and it reminded me of like, it made me think like, okay, what's Angela going to do? Is she going to shoot her in the head or something crazy like this?
Yeah.
And so I was like,
also thinking something
and so I was
like
thinking like that. I was like, this is how all of these sorts of crimes start. Somebody has to pull up and walk up to the house at some point.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, this is creepy. I don't like that. It made me it was very upsetting to me. And then it turns out she doesn't shoot her, but she's like,
don't call me.
Don't call me. We're done. As a full robot. Like, it was the weirdest behavior.
That's what it
was.
It's
like she had been reprogrammed.
Yes.
By very strange.
Yeah.
Like, was she inhabited by White Rose?
We're
like, what was going
assuming
on?
She's with Dark Army right now in that van.
I assume,
and somehow her and White Rose came to an
some sort of agreement or something.
But we know that Angela still works for Elliot at the end.
It's very strange.
But yeah, that when she like kind of hugs her, like robotically hugs her
and says, "Don't call me.
Don't call me anymore." Like, it creepy. Was, yeah. So she was very off in the
very
scene.
Strange. So that's the last we see of Angela for a good portion.
Till the end, till the very last scene.
And then the very last scene after Elliot is shot.
Real quick, I did like one of the last things White Rose says to Angela is, "It all depends on what your definition of real is."
Yes.
And with this show, that is
exactly
such a great quote
because
we never know.
We never
when he
know.
was in jail for half a season, and
I honestly thought that scene was a dream of Elliot's. Because remember, he's trying to do this lucid dreaming thing, and I thought that could be
mind awake, body
like
asleep.
we've got the fish, everything. So the next time we see Angela,
do we want to wait till Elliot's storyline's over for this?
Yeah, we probably should.
That's where I wrote it. Was because that's kind of like the end of the.
And that's the last storyline, right? Elliot's
Yeah.
the last person that we have to see.
Yes, and really not a lot happens except for the fact that it's super important.
Right, exactly. Except for it's crucial.
Except for it's insane. So basically, I think
Yeah,
so.
go
It's
ahead
really
on
important
Elliot's.
here that Elliot's trying this lucid dreaming thing. Blah blah blah. I think the interesting thing is that he even admits at the very beginning of this episode that he doesn't think they can beat Evil Corp anymore.
Yeah.
But he also thinks they can stop them from winning. But at this stage, he doesn't know about Phase 2.
He doesn't seem to know what Phase 2 is.
So he doesn't know that they're still trying to win.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering what his plan is at this moment. Like how, but we never see it because it sounds like Phase 2 or
Phase 2.
Phase 2 is going to happen.
Phase 2, yeah.
So then he actually like reverses
on Mr. Robot.
On Robot.
Yeah.
And Mr. Robot can't see or hear him.
Which is crazy. Which was kind of cool.
I mean, it kind of also shows that Elliot's starting to get a handle on controlling this.
Yes.
With the lucid dreaming and the chanting and then this. So basically he watches. So Mr. Robot comes back to this is why Mr. Robot disappeared from the hardware electronics store.
Yeah.
Because he needed to find something in Elliot's apartment.
Yes.
Turns out to be like this menu with an encryption on it.
Yep.
In the last episode where we had the camera panning.
How would we find that?
What was that?
Like, it
In
was like, can you
hindsight-
find it? It's like, no because
we
it's
don't-
a random-ass piece of paper
It's
on the ground.
menu. Yeah, I want to kind of go back and see if that's even in the scene. It was still a cool shot, but I didn't understand. So he's basically there's an encryption. As we know, Mr. Robot and Elliot are very good at hacking. So he goes through this huge process of codes and maths and all this, and it just ends up leading to a phone number which he calls, and then it says go to this place, you'll see a cab, get in the cab. And this is all set up by Tyrell, correct?
Yes, I believe
Okay.
so. This is all Tyrell's work.
Did you notice what was going on at the street vendors when he was walking to the cab?
No.
It was a currency swap.
Oh.
It was currency trading.
That's interesting.
There's three things. One, someone is yelling out Bitcoins for sale.
Okay.
Someone
that makes
else
a lot of sense.
was yelling, or there's a sign about Con Ed bills. And there was a sign that said currency swap or something about trading currencies.
Yeah, I was so focused on Mr. Robot.
Well, I heard that
and Elliot.
Bitcoins for sale thing, and I was like, what? Why are there Bitcoins for sale at a vendor? But yeah, all of it was about trading money, different forms of money. Which
That's
with
interesting.
the price eCoins thing even complicates that more. And it was just an interesting
that's a good
environmental
that's a good
effect.
God, this show is so
CMS mail.
This show is so good at every little detail being entwined.
I think I've already compared it to Breaking Bad.
Yes.
Where that show is so tight because there's
everything
nothing
is planned.
That is just fluff.
There's not even in this show and Breaking Bad, there's not even just like panoramic shots of the city.
Not really, not unless it's important.
They're very they're indicative of what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Like we see that building over and over again, and it turns out it's going to get blown up.
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh, yeah. And we see even when they do a shot of the Evil Corp building, they always are sure to show all of the protesters at the bottom. Everything has meaning.
It's all
crazy.
adding to the world.
Yes.
Like this.
Yeah.
Like this currency swap. And then Tyrell gets in the cab.
It does that, or to seriously deep character development.
Yeah.
Everything is important.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
thinking
tight. It's a
specifically
tight
of the
show.
scenes of DiPiero in the gas station. And it's what is this for? What is this for? But now it
just shows her
this crazy personal life. And it also shows that even gas stations can't deal with this.
Yes.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's very
actually
smart.
having a negative effect on some small store owners.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's really great.
It's so great. So Tyrell gets in the cab to no fanfare, which I loved. We've been waiting for the entire season.
I love that too.
And it's not like this huge reveal. It's like he just
totally
gets
just
in
walks
and,
in. Here I am.
All right, let's go.
You knew it was me, like right? Like everybody knew it was me.
It was amazing. So Tyrell's back. I'm so happy to see this actor again.
Yeah,
loved him in season 1. Have missed him.
There's a
Mark
scene,
Wallstrom or whatever.
Yeah, Martin Wallstrom. There's a scene. Let's keep going. Because we'll get to.
Okay,
it here.
sure.
Yep.
You want me to just keep?
Yeah, keep going
on it.
Keep going.
All right. He tells him that the Dark Army has said that the stage 2 is ready. And he said, "It worked, Elliot. It's up to us now."
Yeah.
And Elliot still has no idea.
He's like, what is going on?
But Tyrell thinks he knows?
Because Tyrell is seeing Elliot. I mean, when he's seeing Mr. Robot talking to him, he's only seeing Elliot.
Yeah.
And that comes in the scene I want to talk about.
But then this is where we see Elliot start to question if Tyrell is also a dissociation, because he starts yelling at the cab like,
"Do you see him? Is he here?"
And now in real life, the cab would just say yes.
Yeah, but that cabbie freaks out.
Yeah, there's a person there, but he just like started yelling at him like, "What?" And of course he can't speak English, but
also what like muddies this again, like what blurs this a little bit is that Tyrell also freaks out about this.
Yes.
And it's like, what are you doing?
What are you talking about?
And at first I was like, why is he doing that? But now it's like, why are you drawing attention to who I am?
Mm-hmm.
I am a wanted man.
That's true. Oh,
like,
yeah.
What are you doing,
he's like
stupid?
Been on all the
That's
news.
why he's like, don't do that. But,
that's true.
But at first I was like, oh, God, maybe it is. Maybe it's Mr. Robot all over again. Like, crazy.
But it's not.
It was not.
Thankfully. I mean, yes, that was my prediction, but I'm glad.
I'm glad.
I didn't want it to be true.
Part of me really did, because I thought it would be really fun, but I'm like glad.
Called it.
Thank
called
God.
it.
That's
but no.
that we're not.
I'm happy with being wrong. So, so they go into this building. There's like a Chinese man.
Yep.
There, so we're
in
assuming
a hazmat suit eating a sandwich.
Yep. So we're assuming Dark Army.
Yeah.
Okay.
I fully thought that was going to be like, oh crap, what are we walking up to right now?
Oh,
like what is going on here?
The doors will open. There'll be
like
hundreds.
Nukes.
Yeah.
Like there's going to be radiation.
Yeah.
Up there
is something else. Well, probably just the bomb, right? They're probably just preparing all the explosives. No, they're not.
They're not even doing explosives.
There's no explosive. It's all about the chemicals and the weird. Okay.
So I was like, what is with this? Who knows?
It may just be what else. Yeah.
Maybe it's just
probably
a shady
Dark Army building,
and maybe they are working on something like that, but it's not related to this.
Yeah,
which is just, even more horrifying.
Yeah, Dark Army is terrifying.
Yeah.
He shows him this blueprint on the computer of the building across the street.
Yep.
And Elliot kind of starts remembering some stuff at this moment.
Yeah.
And I don't remember if he remembers it or if Tyrell explains that he wrote a malware that through some convoluted steps blows up the building. So he writes a program and the program blows up the building.
Yeah.
Don't know if that's realistic at all.
Probably
who
not.
cares,
but
Mr. Robot? It's
fun.
lovely.
Yeah.
And then this is when I'm starting to believe that Tyrell is dead and is in his head.
Could be.
I don't remember why I just wrote it down.
Well, because it's so confusing. Like you can never know. And so the scene I wanted to talk about that we missed, I wanted to just mention was a scene that was important for everybody last season in trying to figure out whether Mr. Robot was real or not, and whether Elliot was real or not. They recreated the scene in the limo or in the car between Mr. Robot and Tyrell. It was at the very beginning of episode part 2. They recreated this scene between Mr. Robot and Tyrell, but with Elliot and Tyrell, where they're initially talking about it.
Yes.
This scene was amazing to me, not because of what was said in it, because the lines were exactly the same.
Same thing.
But we see him run out of the vehicle afterwards, and we see like Tyrell's face against the backdrop of the sky this day, and there's something so desperate about Tyrell.
Yes, that's what we see from him for the first time I think ever.
And it's desperation, and it's like this weird need, and it's haunting. Like his face in this scene is lit in such a way that he looks like a skull. Like his whole face looks like a skull. I thought the whole scene was, and he starts crying a little bit.
That's the thing. That's 2 times in this episode, right?
He's vulnerable.
One here at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, he like you said, he loves Elliot.
There's something about him and Elliot,
there's something between them. There's something about his desire to be needed by Elliot.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if just because he's never had that in his life.
We
know he doesn't have with Joanna. Joanna does not need him.
Do you think he has a romantic interest in Elliot? Because we've seen him sleep with men before.
Yeah. I think there might be some of that, but it's way above that.
Do you think Angela has a romantic interest in Elliot?
No.
I don't think so either. I think she has no romantic interest in Elliot at all.
I think she does love him as a friend.
Yeah, but I don't think she's.
But I don't think they would ever. No.
In the last
Elliot
episode
does kiss
before
her, right?
this,
Isn't that who he kisses?
Yeah, because he thinks she does.
Oh,
but I think it had no effect on her. It was just like, oh crap.
Yeah,
because Elliot has kissed several people to try. He's tried this tactic before, and I didn't think about it with Darlene. Season 1, and then she's like, "What are you doing?" And everybody, that's everybody's reaction here. I don't know. Tyrell and Elliot's relationship is so strange.
I'm excited to see it in season 3.
Me too.
Now that they're together.
I want to see them together.
So excited for them being together.
Me too. Me too.
I forgot about that scene. I'm so glad you brought it up because it was so cool, and they shot back to Mr. Robot saying it, and then they shoot to Elliot saying the same stuff. But he is so desperate. Like, he cries, he begs, like, I need to help you.
I need to be involved in this.
Yes.
I need this. And it's very interesting. So,
and the fact that he just left Joanna and his life for like how many months? How long's it been? 2 or 3 months?
At least. But she doesn't seem to care that much.
No, but he might.
I think he maybe does. Yeah, we'll see.
I don't know. Anyway, Tyrell gets a gun.
Sorry.
Probably the same gun that...
I think it's the same one.
And Mr. Robot says, sorry, kid. I love this. Sorry, kid. I couldn't let anyone stop this, including us.
Yep.
So great. Christian Slater, amazing.
He's great.
He better stay in as well.
Oh, he will.
Okay.
He for sure will.
That's all I had here. And then except for the fact that Tyrell shoots him.
Well, Tyrell shoots him because he's trying to stop Tyrell from doing phase 2, shoots him in the gut. Because Elliot also pushes him. He's like, do it. You can't shoot me. You're not real. You can't shoot me. You're not a real person. Because Elliot has convinced himself that Elliot is so delusional, he has no idea whether people in his environment are real or not.
How terrifying would it be to live life like that?
Like, I feel sympathy for him, just like in the same way I feel sympathy for DiPiero. Like, they're both struggling with mental illness, it seems like. DiPiero's is like a deep depression, probably anxiety, manic episodes. He is like
schizophrenia?
Is that what
that would be?
Possibly even dissociative identity disorder. Like,
it's
very strange.
Severe,
what's going on.
Too.
Yeah,
I mean, that is
very severe.
I could not imagine having to question if someone is real.
And
Sam Esmail does such a great job handling this. I think
so too.
From someone who's never like known someone who's had it. You know, I've never actually dealt with it myself, but it seems to be
because he both handles it with kid gloves in that he's very realistic about it, but also is very realistic about it.
Yes,
and it's like,
it's kind
this
of like
is what it's like.
Informative, and you can very much form empathy.
And I think it's realistic. If we have any listeners who disagree with that, I would be open to hearing that, because I'm curious if people think this is a realistic
or
version
if it's
of this.
Maybe just
a little bit fantasized or whatever,
kind of Hollywood.
I do feel like DiPiero's depression is very realistic.
I think so.
Like,
that's what it is. Like, your life may be fine. Like, her professional life is amazing.
It's just a cloud.
But that doesn't mean that she's happy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something else with that.
Yeah.
He gets shot, and then we finally get to that last scene we've kind of talked about already.
Teasing.
So Tyrell calls Angela.
And we know it's Angela because we see her apartment, and who's the first person we see in this scene? Qwerty the fish.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
There's Qwerty.
Nice. Great name.
Yeah.
I don't remember the whole conversation because I was in awe. But the most important thing is that she's known the whole time.
Well, she goes, "Hello, Tyrell. They told me you'd be calling."
And she says that he did what he needed to do.
You did what needed
to be done by shooting him.
Yes.
She's fine with it because it helped stage 2, and she's all about stage 2 all of a sudden.
Stage 2. And then she says, "Let me know when he wakes. I'm coming. I need to be the first person he sees when he wakes up," which is weird. And Tyrell goes, "I love him," and she goes, "Me too."
Oh, I love that scene.
Then it hangs up.
It's so good. Like, there's more to this than just like personal motive.
Yeah,
it showed there's actually connection between these characters.
It's so strange. Like this was not what I was expecting for this ending. I
thought there would be an ending.
I thought we would see an explosion.
Yeah, like a finale, and it's not, but it's way
like,
more effective. It's
in a weird way, it is. And last night I was a little bit mad. I was like, ugh, now I have to wait a year to see this.
9 months, right?
Whatever. But I'm like, dang it. Like, now I got to wait forever to see this stupid thing. But I'm like, yeah, okay. I get it. I'm happy with it.
I'm so happy with it.
I'm happy with it,
and okay, so I'm really excited for Tyrell and Elliot to be together.
Yes.
I would be super pumped if Angela
turns out to be more of a mastermind than she's been letting on.
And like those three were like a sweet trio.
And what if we're seeing Angela this whole time? I mean, we're not because we see her by herself, but what if we're seeing Angela the way Elliot wants us to see Angela and the way Elliot perceives Angela?
Oh, it's like an innocent, doesn't know how to hack.
Not involved. He's protective of her.
And we know he is.
And what if we start to see things differently
from,
about
like maybe
Angela?
Tyrell's perspective, which is
because Angela is inexplicably amazing at her job,
and
for being as timid and like she's like a badass in her career, and so maybe she is like much more prominently, like maybe she's more of a go-getter, more behind the scenes, more conniving than
growing. I mean, we've seen her listening to her tapes,
yep,
and her little mantras that she chants to herself. And
part of me thought she was going to get part of me is realistic and says, okay, she just recently got mixed up in this and now she's involved.
Do you think it was from the femtocell thing on, or was she already involved and that was her like kind of ploy to
get involved with F Society?
That means Darlene doesn't know she's involved
because Angela's really been involved with the Dark Army since about episode 3 of season 1 when she puts that CD in
that's true,
that all safe computer.
What's scary is Tyrell calls her, but at this point she's probably working with White Rose.
Yeah,
because of that scene this episode.
Oh yeah, I think for sure she's working with.
So
White
now
Rose.
She's like double agenting, but also
she's double
Society
agenting.
and DA.
She's triple agency.
Oh yeah, and Evil Corp.
She's in all sources.
Do you think she'll bring F Society and Dark Army more on the same page? Because they're like working together, but they're not friendly.
They're not on the same page in a lot of ways. I feel like they're. Like,
we still don't know their motives, and neither does Elliot.
And Elliot does not want to blow up this building.
No.
Like, Elliot, the head of F Society, is like, no, we can't do that.
It's his plan, right?
It's his plan, deep down. Like, he's so troubled that it's his plan.
It's going to be...
This is crazy.
And what's awesome is that I think Sam Esmail already said it's going to be 5 seasons.
Okay, he said 5 seasons now?
I think that's the number. What was the original?
I think initially it was going to be 3.
Oh.
Actually, even before that, it was going to be 1.
What?
1 movie. It was going to be a movie. This whole thing was going to be a movie. He did it. They expanded it into a 3-season TV show. And I think just based on popularity, he's like, oh, we can go a little bit more. We can do a little bit more.
Maybe I'm misremembering then. Maybe it is 3.
I think you're right that it's 5, though. I think he said that it's going to be 5. I love it, though. I don't mind. 5 I'm on board with 5.
And like as long as in his head
he already knows how it's going to end.
Unlike, just so we don't have a Lost situation.
Yes.
Where the end was just absolute crap.
I think there's going to be a season that's like, I bet there's going to be a season of fallout from some of this stuff where we're going to see some spiraling, and I feel like the show's going to change every season in some ways.
Okay. I feel like you've already mentioned, the tone and vibe of this season
is very different from season 1. And I think
1.
It's going to change every season. Things are going to be different. So
yeah.
I feel like next season is going to be like this, like espionage, weird sort of thing.
I want it to be like a superhero. These 3 teaming up.
That could be.
I would love that because
I can see that.
I mean, not actually superhero, but just I want these 3 to be friends and just like take over.
I'm thinking the same thing, but I'm thinking like spy, like spies going in and kind of not necessarily superhero, but like they're infiltrating, they're doing all these things, but they are working together. They're working towards a similar
Do you think
goal.
Eventually the goal is going to be take down the Dark Army once they're kind of done?
I think it
Evil
has
Corp?
to be. I think it has to.
So
be.
season 3 Evil Corp,
because Dark Army
season 4,
is the truest villain in this.
Yes.
Like they're the worst people
they
ever.
Are awful.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I think we enjoyed the finale.
We did. We have to talk about the credit scene though.
Oh gosh, yeah.
The craziest thing that happened.
Okay, so the credits roll, and then make sure you keep watching.
Yes. And we...
because this is going to come up in season 3.
For sure.
What Trenton says.
For sure.
Oh, okay, so we see this long, faraway shot of 2 people talking...
Is it a movie theater?
Oh, I thought it was like an electronics store.
Okay, but with a snake theme?
What was it called?
I don't know.
We're really bad at details.
It was like a there was a giant snake on the building though.
I thought it was something with I don't know. Either way, they're working at like a big store.
A big box store of
Yes.
some kind, yeah.
And so they're on their lunch break or something and talking. And as it zooms in, you see Mobley's beard, so you know it's Mobley, and you kind of assume it's Trenton, and it is.
And it is. Without hijab.
What's that?
Without wearing a hijab.
Yeah, I thought that was
interesting.
but I guess.
But I mean, she's being smart. They both have changed their appearance.
Yes.
He cut his hair. She's not wearing a hijab anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's important.
Yep. And so we know they're alive. They're together.
Mm-hmm.
Not really happy, but I mean they're on the run. And Trenton is talking about how she found something, and she wants Mobley to look at what she found. Do you remember this?
Yes.
And what she found will undo everything.
Yes. She found some way to undo the program, I think, or the initial hack that they did.
Like to get the data back?
Just reset it, don't you think? Like send it all back to how it was?
But they deleted it, right? Didn't the hack completely destroy everything? That's why they have to have paper, like the paper. I don't know.
I feel like she found a way to fix it.
So she wants to do this. She wants to fix it.
So now we've got like a second superhero
So now
team.
we have but they're going against F Society.
Yeah.
So basically they're going with
because
the FBI.
Why wouldn't they go against F Society at this point? Like F Society has ruined their lives.
Yeah.
Like them even being involved and of course we know Darlene is like hoping that they're safe, but she doesn't really care.
Also Darlene I think is not going to be present very much in season 2.
No.
Do you think she's going to be jailed, gone, or do you think she's going to be working?
Well, I think she's.
I think she'll be more.
I think she'll be as present as Angela was this season. She's going to take a little bit of a backseat.
But you think she's going to work with the FBI to save herself?
I can't say.
Okay,
I can't say.
But anyway, the best part: who comes walking up at the end? Leon.
Who has a history
Leon,
of just
right?
Yeah, it's Leon. Who has a history of just like slashing people.
Well, remember who he works for?
Dark Army.
Dark Army. So now the Dark Army knows where they are and has someone watching out for them.
Yep.
They don't know this. That they don't know that Leon's Dark Army.
Mm-hmm. He comes up and asks if they have the time.
Yep. So amazing.
So what's going to happen to them? Are they going to get killed by Leon? Are they going to be...
I think the Dark Army is going to watch them, and if they start to
do this, they're going to pull them in.
Leon
they're going to try to stop them.
Yeah. It's crazy.
But to do this, I feel like they're going to have to come back to New York. They're
Elliot.
not going to have to. They're not going to be able to stay over there because
Elliot
will want to be on their side. Elliot will want to stop.
But Mr. Robot won't.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to be
so. Mr. Robot and Elliot are still going to be pulling against each other.
Cannot wait for season 3.
It's going to be wonderful. I can't wait.
Fortunately, in the meantime, we will have Horror Story for the next few months.
We've got plenty to go.
We'll have Twin Peaks.
Oh. There were some scenes in this that reminded me of Twin Peaks, and I don't really know why. There was something I was like, oh, that's kind of Lynchian. Oh, I remember what it was, and it was important. In that scene, back to the scene where I mentioned where they're recreating the scene between Elliot and Tyrell in the car. Tyrell says a weird poem.
Oh, yeah.
That says something like...
It didn't make sense.
I have the quote here on the sort of something here. So much depends upon a red wheelbarrow glazed with rainwater beside the white chickens.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's totally strange. It's like
that is very...
Really? And I was like, what? That's Lynch. I love it.
That is very Lynchy. I love that.
Apparently there's some sort of book or something or some sort of interesting thing that something called Red Wheelbarrow that there's a book or something that Sam Esmail is releasing called Red Wheelbarrow.
Okay.
Or something. So
some
there may be some more
material.
content in the meantime that we can read through.
Okay.
And apparently red wheelbarrows have showed up a lot in the show, including in the house where that's what people are saying on the Reddit, including in the house where they dropped off Angela, that little reference to a red wheelbarrow. So there's going to be some weird stuff, I think. So
all right.
I really want to look into this and see what's going to happen. So.
Yeah. And I'm assuming we'll be back for season 3.
Oh yeah, we have to.
Obviously we'll keep the podcast will continue with Horror Story. We've already started that. We'll have Twin Peaks because that's why we started this in the first place, was Twin Peaks season 3 next year.
Yep.
But I think we'll have to redo this or do this one on because
we have to.
This has to be one of them.
Yeah,
it's so good.
It's too good.
Anything else about this season or this episode that we need to discuss? I think we've covered a lot. I think all my predictions, thoughts,
all came true.
Have all been vocalized at least.
Just looking at the Reddit here, apparently the guy who plays Tyrell says that there's on a different podcast. Oh no, Sam said this. There's one thing being telegraphed nobody's caught yet. So there's more surprises coming. So
all right,
love it. I love it.
Well, if you okay.
Another weird thing that happened. There was a weird reference to the USA Network, which is the network that this airs on. Somebody says something about like, this isn't Burn Notice.
Oh yeah,
characters are not welcome here.
Yes, that is pretty good.
I loved that.
Characters are welcome
because I love making fun of characters are welcome. It's one of my favorite things. Anyway, go on.
If you out there, listeners, have any thoughts about this show, predictions, anything like that, please email us. Even though we're not podcasting this show anymore, it doesn't mean we can't.
We could bring it up.
We could do a one-off.
Something awesome came up, we would love to talk about it.
If more information comes out, supplementary stuff.
Yeah, if we start looking at this
stuff from
whatever this red wheelbarrow
from all of you out there, we could definitely do a one-off at some point between these two seasons.
I think so, yeah.
You can email us at theparlorpodcast@gmail.com. You can tweet us at theparlorpod.
And you can go to our new website, theparlorpodcast.com.
And that has everything on it. It has our schedule, little pictures of us,
all the episodes,
all of
links
our podcasts.
To all the episodes.
It has our Twitter and Gmail accounts, so that's probably the one-stop place to go.
And just a reminder, if you are listening to our podcast and you're enjoying it, we'd really love for you to subscribe if you haven't done so already, and give us a rating on iTunes. That really helps.
It's where it's at.
It really helps people find the show. It helps us move up and makes us more visible in the store. So if you could do that, that would be really, really helpful. And also, if you're like telling about our podcast to your friends who maybe they're into American Horror Story, which we're going to be following here for the next couple of months, but they're like, oh, I don't have an iPhone, or I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do podcasts. We're also available on Stitcher. So if that's an app that's compatible with Android. So
yep. And I use Libsyn. I use Android and just download it from Libsyn.
Yep. So there's plenty of ways to get a hold of our podcast.
If you have YouTube Red, you can start listening to it on my channel. I'll start releasing the horror story.
Yep.
And with YouTube Red, you can basically listen to it you can just download them offline mode. So
we're trying to be as available as possible.
So again, all those links are on our website, theparlorpodcast.com. So I think that'll be it for Mr. Robot Season 2.
Loved it.
All right.
It's been great.
It's been a great.
I've loved this. I mean, after Black Mirror was fun. I liked talking about Black Mirror. After Jessica Jones, I was like, we need another serialized show that I can just really dive into. And this
is it.
Scratched the itch.
And I'm super pumped to discuss Horror Story episode 2 later. So
cool.
All right. Thanks so much for listening out there. We'll see you next time.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.